Hey there, it's Dr. Appalraju. Again, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Listen, I want you to take a deep breath. Simple, right? But you'd be surprised how many people don't even do that. If you're able to take a breath in and count 5 seconds, hold it for 5 seconds, and then breathe out for 5 seconds, you're doing something pretty amazing. Something that most of us don't do because of our horrible Western lifestyles, our sedentary lifestyles. Just imagine most of the time we're sitting either at work or at home. We're not exploring or adventurous and out really pushing our physiology and taking deep breaths because of exercise. Now, if you are doing that, that's fantastic. But for the most part, most people aren't doing that. And why am I talking about that? Because we usually take our breath for granted. During normal days, for most of the time, we are typically in a relaxed sitting position, and we're not actually using our lungs to full capacity. We're not taking those deep breaths. And why is that important? Well, if you imagine on our regular days that we are overwhelmed and stressed, as I've mentioned in numerous other posts, especially if you're a parent, or a busy mom or a single parent, you're working multiple jobs and you have kids at home to take care of or get them to school, make their lunches. I mean, you can just, it goes on and on and on. So if you're not taking time to stop and take those deep breaths in, your system, your nervous system is pretty much running in what we call fight or flight mode. And that is a system that typically elevates cortisol with all the downstream effects. Now, in a short burst, that fight or flight response is meant to save you or keep you safe. But over long periods of time, unfortunately, it creates damage from that elevated cortisol on numerous organ systems. And that is where people end up with a lot of problems downstream, meaning a few years, multiple years down the road. They just don't realize it. So one very, very simple way to help counteract that is either meditate, which does require some time and effort, but also just taking some deep breaths. So when you're, sitting in your car, just at the red light, just take a few slow, deep breaths, counting 5 in, hold for 5, and breathe out for 5. What you're actually doing when you do that and you breathe properly, and this is what we call deep belly breaths. It's not really moving your chest up. It's actually letting your stomach or your gut out and in. So it's something you have to focus on. But when you do that, what you're typically doing is activating your vagus nerve, okay? And not to get too complicated, but your vagus nerve is really the opposite of your fight and flight. So when you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system, that's more relaxation. And so it's going to cut off your fight or flight and that elevated cortisol that's been running all day long when you're busy and stressed out. You can also do this through exercise, right? So you'll probably be breathing harder when you exercise. So it's just a simple tip. When you are feeling overwhelmed, feeling stressed, sit down or stand up, take a few slow, deep breaths, and you'll feel a lot better. I hope you found that useful. If you are doing this, drop a post or a comment below. I'd appreciate it. And I hope you're having a fantastic day. Take care. Remember, you only have one life. Live it well.